I love how they detailed her face here. It looks so silly. It's like the most like judgmental looking face known to man, and then the Starks in the background just grimacing over there. What's going on? He's making it look so dramatic. He's like, oh my god, I can't believe you're making me do this. And he's just climbing up like a fucking 6-foot cliff. So basically, just use Stark as bait. Man, this has not been Stark's season if you think about it. That, you know what? It kind of looks like that dragon is ready to slurp old Starky boy down if you think about it. What isn't worth the effort for most people ends up becoming worth the effort for them. It's kind of cute though when you think about it. You have to go on this epic adventure slaying a 3-headed dragon just to get to a footbath. Really does encapsulate the message of the show though, about appreciating the journey, not the destination. Yo, she'll love that. That's what she was hoping for, bro. The amount of emotions overflowing in her and her not being able to process it. You gotta love the fact that Fern and Stark's date nearly ends in tragedy just because he accidentally called the old woman an old woman. So she has some regret that she hasn't felt like she's lived up to the role that he gave her, not realizing all the stuff that she has done that is good. One of my favorite things about the popularity and success of Frieren is watching people collectively lose its mind over the rage that so many people feel. Now, not the vocal majority, is very much the vocal minority about how could a show about mostly traveling end up as the top-rated anime on my anime list? How could people be glazing mid? No matter how successful the show is, you always see that one account or a couple accounts, whether it's on torrenting sites, illegal sites, used to be official sites. Most of those don't have comments anymore, but you still see those people fighting the good fight, thinking they are in the right, because how could something like this, how could some pencil crayon ending song be as good as people say? And you know what? Episode 3, best episode of this new season. Not going to deny the fact that the hero of the South last week, completely different beast. I still think he needs his own anime. But this represents why Frieren ended up with the popularity that it has. And Shonentars will get increasingly mad. And honestly, there's a point in this episode that if they continued to hate watch would probably drive them up the wall. We end up fighting what is essentially Blue Eye's ultimate dragon. And you're thinking, okay, you know what? We're going to see the big epic battle. No, you don't. Now, I'll be honest, I did kind of want to see the attack that ultimately cut off all 3 heads of that dragon, but you know, at the end of the day, this episode's entire message wasn't about the destination. And that fact, seeing a dragon get its heads cut off wasn't the point. The whole point of this episode was to show that the journey is always the most important thing. Walking with your friends to get to a hot springs that is nothing but a foot bath. Maybe not the biggest reward, but that journey to get there together and to see a sight that you're mastered. That is such beautiful storytelling and represents everything that makes this show so fucking wonderful. And it is increasingly funny that we are over 30 episodes into the show and people are still dead ass angrily hate tweeting, posting on wherever it is. I literally went to grab the episode today and the first 2 were like, overrated mid. I don't get how this slop fest ended up. And it's just so fucking funny. Haters will be left speechless at a pure rage because such a beautiful slice of life episode with characterization is continuously considered to be one of, if not the best anime ever made. Stay mad, bozos. Now, of course, you got this fun video note to do. Drop a like, share your support, subscribe, ring that bell, and Patreon is where you catch my full live reactions to all these episodes and more, which does help fund the channel and videos just like these. So we do end up going on a date, or at least establishing a date between the best up-and-coming couple. I gotta be honest, this was probably the best scene of the whole episode, because bro is literally out here just trying to be like, I'm gonna get one up on her. You know what? I'm gonna make her so like, she's not gonna want to go on a date with me. He's thinking that's the farthest thing from what she would want. So let's make her embarrassed. She just agrees and leaves. I honestly thought he was gonna try to bring her the book outside and he was gonna see her like huddled up. But it was beautiful because he literally had no idea what he just did. Because the concept of him even considering the fact that he has a shot with her and like romance is a thing, that doesn't cross his mind, right? Like that's not who he is as a person. And I mean, whether you like it or not, the face of this girl right here is probably better than most of your favorite anime. And that also brings me great joy. But it's really funny because the thing about Frieren as a character, I think more often than not, it feels like Fern is the one being a mother to her rather than vice versa. And it's interesting that a main point of this episode for her is actually feeling like she's failed the promise. Because what ends up happening back before Hader ended up passing away was he's like very much he wants her to be a mother figure to her. And the thing that's super interesting and something I didn't really consider, I mean, I probably did think about this when season 1 aired at some point and I'm just forgetting, but it is something that at the very least has slipped my mind. At the end of the day, her role, in theory, should be, yeah, you should have been passed the torch of parental figure once her parental figure was no longer here, especially given that you had such respect for him. And while sure, Fern has had a lot of motherly roles, you can't deny she has continuously also felt like a motherly role. I mean, there's a whole joke about her being a grandma. She almost killed Stark, 2 strikes, you know, rip Bozo almost, but 3 strikes, you're definitely not seeing tomorrow for that date. But it's super interesting seeing her sadness in a way, being like, you know, I honestly feel like I haven't lived up to my promise. And it's not for Stark saying like, but girl, like, you remember so much. You may not have found new things about her character that haven't already been previously told, like her favorite foods and sweets and treats and the like of that, but you remember all that and you go out of your way to always make her feel good. So it's like, it's a very touching and heartwarming moment where you actually see a side of Frieren that you normally don't, because she's very good at masking her feelings because her happy and her sad can all be the same fucking face. She's a very hard read to get, but this was an episode that really flexed who she is and who she thinks of herself as, while also still having that comedy. And while it was very brief, I did enjoy the dragon action. I thought it was hilarious the fact that the entire time Frieren's like, I really don't want to go here. I've been here before. It's not worth it. I'm like, how bad can it be? Like, it's probably just an extra walk. No, it's an extra walk on top of the fact that you have to defeat a 3-headed dragon where all 3 heads have to come out at once. All for a foot bath. A lot of people would be in their right to say that wasn't worth it, but I love the fact that the whole message, which this show started off as, was a elf with regret that she didn't appreciate the journey and she rushed to the destination. And while she still has her opinions about which destinations are worth it, the fact that by the end, we got probably one of my favorite scenes we've ever had. This shot in particular just feels like a painting, a watercolor painting where you're just like, you know what? The world truly is beautiful despite the hells that we might have to face before we get a moment to soak in that beauty. Like, I don't think everyone has to think this is the #1 anime of all time, but I do think that if you are one of the people who are still, and this is a thing that consistently happens, and I mean, it's kind of, in a way, respectful that no matter how many people, thousands and thousands, say, you guys are brain dead for hating on this show, you still stand true and say, you know what, we're going to tear this show down. Just understand that the reason people love episodes like these isn't because of mindless shonen slopfest action, but because it reminds you that there's a lot of beauty to soak in the world, and I think, especially in times like these, it's so great to have a show that continuously reminds you that there's so much beauty that you can enjoy, and that you should enjoy what you have while you have it rather than wishing to get to that destination. Don't rush to get to Christmas. Enjoy the year to build up to it, you know? Because before you know it, there ain't going to be more days that will come around. Let me know your thoughts down below, though. Drop a like, share your support, subscribe if you're new around here, ring that bell, and yes, Patreon for live reactions and exclusives like, hey, I love to give video shouts to my patrons because they make these videos possible. So today we got Pranay Sumshwar, Darian Smith, Raj Vermullins, Diedrich Savan, Chupaka, Davlin, Furno, Pixcalibur, Sign, and Ashless. So I appreciate the support. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.